Hello, everybody. Welcome to the live. I see people are showing up, which is good, which is fantastic. Okay. So, guys, we start at past 10, 1910. Okay. We start at past 10. That's when we start. Now, let me give you guys some music. This is the good time to share the live. This is a good time to share the live. This is a good time to it's a good time to like the live if you're on TikTok. If you're on YouTube, it's a good time to like this live. If you have not yet subscribed, a sub to the channel would be fantastic, would be appreciated. Okay, yeah. So what do we have here? Okay, everybody. So time is up. Time is up. Let's start now. Welcome to the live, everybody. Welcome to the live. My name is George, and I've been working with Laravel for quite some time now. And welcome to the live. If you know a few people who can benefit from coding, who would want to learn Laravel, please share the live. My goal is to help as many people as I can. And if you help me by sharing the live to your groups, if you're a student, share this to the group of your classes. If you're working somewhere at a team, share the live link to the team. If you're using YouTube, there is also a YouTube live link right now on my WhatsApp status. Yeah, so that would be fantastic. If you enjoy the vibe, be sure to like the live. That would mean a lot because the way these social medias work, if something is liked, it is pushed to more people and more people will get help. Yeah, so if you do that, you will be helping other people also get to learn Laravel. Yeah, so Musa, welcome to the live, everybody. Masalu, Machibia, it's good to have you. Nasri Tech, super, it's good to have you. Yeah, so we have been building a very simple application. We have been building a very simple application using Laravel, and our main goal is to learn Laravel, not really to build an application, a very sensible application, not really that, although that will happen as a side effect. Yeah, so our goal is to learn Laravel, the inner workings of Laravel, right? So specifically, we started working with authentication on the other week. So in this week, we will be finishing up what we started in authentication. And then maybe later on, we will continue with authorization. Yeah. And then we'll see gates and policies. Yeah, it will be fun. Okay, so let me boot up the site. That way we can see where we started. Let me just put these things side by side. Okay. Okay. So there we go. So I'm going to zoom a little bit so that you guys can see. And Command J. So to boot the application, I'll do composer run dev. Okay, composer run dev. I hope that is let me make this bigger. So if I do composer run dev, so it will start a Laravel a server, right, which will be running on port 800 or 8000, and we can easily access that if we go to let me open up Arc, and if we go to this port, right, we can access there. We can access the website. So this is basically what we built. So if I hit get started, taken to the register page. Let me zoom a little bit so that you guys can see. Yeah, so I'm taken to the register page, and let's see if we can register, right? So if I do maybe John Kimaro, and if I do John at gmail.com, and if I do password as password, if I hit register, so it looks like I'm registered. How can we validate that we have registered, if we go to the cursor, we can look at the database, right? If we look at the database here, because we are using SQLite, we can easily connect with SQLite here and look at users, and we see John Kimaro here in the database. Yeah, and the password has been hashed. Yeah, so we have John Kimaro, but now it still says get started, which is bad. So instead of it saying get started, when someone is registered and logged in, because actually what we are doing, let me show you. When someone hits a register endpoint, so when we have a post request to a register, what exactly is a post request to the register page? Let me show you on the register form. So this is the form, right? It is submitting when someone clicks on this button, the register button. We are basically submitting this form to this route, and when we submit the form to this route, we use the method called post. That is why we have two routes with the same URI but different methods. So this one will get the form. This one will get the form to view the register page, but this one will get there. We will submit the form, right? This one will submit the form. I hope that is clear. So when we hit store method, at first we start with validation. We want to validate if the user's data, the data submitted to us, is a valid data. Then when it is valid, if it is not, we will redirect, right? The code won't even reach here. Now, if the submitted data is valid, this means the name has been set and there is an email and it is a valid email, and we don't have that email in our database, you see, then we see if the password conforms to the default password rules. If this validation passes, then we go ahead and create a record in the database. How do we create a record in the database? We use the user model, exposes a create method. With the create method, we can pass in an array of data that we want to store in the database, right? Now, by doing so, we get a user created in the database, but that user is not logged in. So here is how we log in now. In Laravel, it is very easy to log in a user. You just use the auth facade, and then you chain with the login method, which accepts a user instance that you want to register. After that, you have registered the user, then you can redirect to whenever you want to go. Yeah. Let me see why my laptop is. Let me close some other programs. And yeah, let me close this one as well. Okay. Okay. Yeah, so now that we know that our user is logged in, let me see, there we go. Now that our user is logged in, now we can use a few Laravel functionalities to dictate when the user is, when to show some specific code. For example, in here we have this saying get started. So Laravel gives us some directives, I can say. We can say at guest. If we say at guest and we say at end guest, essentially what we are saying here is if the user, so this will translate to if a user is not logged in, okay? If the user is not logged in, display this, right? Then we end that scope right here. If the user is not logged in, that is where we want to show the get started button, because the user is not logged in, is not registered, and is not logged in. So we can show the get started button, right? It makes sense if we do that, right? But if the user is logged in, we could also say at auth. Then we can say, maybe if the user is logged in, we can say, maybe we can take them to see their products. So we could go to products. Then we can see here, view your products, something like that. Now, if I reload, as you can see, because I'm logged in, now I do not see the get started, I see view your products. And if I click, I'm taken to my products, right? Although technically, these are not all of them are my products, because I just registered this user, right? And this user has access to products which are not theirs, you see? So that's not a good idea. Actually, that is because currently, we can actually shorten this. Let us shorten this, then we proceed. So if we say guest, can't we say else? And then maybe we can say auth, like this. Can we chain an else there? Let's go back to login. Yeah. So if we are authenticated, now just switch this, guys. If we are authenticated, we put that. If we are not, we put that, right? So we could do auth at auth. This means if the user is authenticated, show this. Else, this means they are not authenticated, show that. So we are actually mixing. We are mixing Blade, HTML and Blade. And Blade essentially translates back to PHP, okay? Blade will translate back to PHP. Okay, so we have that. So if I reload, yeah, then we have the logic like so. So let's now make sure that a user, when they are creating a product, that product is associated with the particular user who created the product, right? So that's called relationship, right? So we are building relationships. We are building a relationship between a product and a user, because a user creates a product, so a product belongs to a user, okay? And a user can have many products, because one user can create multiple products. It's very straightforward, right? Yeah. So let's start defining the relationships. So if we have a product, let us see in our database what exactly is the schema, the makeup of a product. What is a product based on our code? What is a product? So if I look at the migrations, I say product, create product table. We have ID, which uniquely identifies a product. We have a product name, a description, and the timestamps. We don't have a way to associate a user with a particular product. So let us do that. In Laravel, we can do this. We can do table foreign ID 4. We can do foreign ID 4, and then we can specify the user class. Okay. So let me just import this user from models. Yeah. So this one, what it will translate to is, it will translate to a user underscore ID. A column in the database called user underscore ID, and that column will be used to store the ID of the user who creates the product. Okay, the ID of the user who creates the product. I hope this makes sense. Yeah. So that is step number one. We need inside the products table to have a way to store the ID of the user who creates that particular product, so that later on we can actually fetch the product that belongs to that particular user. Now, after we create this relation, this database mechanism, what we need to do now is we need to go and create our product. So currently our database does not have this table. So how are we going to do? Let me just drop everything, right? Let me just remove everything in the database and then rerun the migrations. That way we can have the user ID inside the database. So we won't always be able to do that, like to be able to just remove everything from the database, drop all the tables, and rerun the migrations. But since our project is in a very early stages, it is very okay to do that, okay? So I'm going to open up terminal. I'll open up terminal here. I'll clear. Then I'll just say PHP artisan migrate fresh. So when I say PHP artisan migrate fresh, what I'm doing is I'm deleting everything, all the tables, and then I'm rerunning the migrations, which will recreate the tables. So if I do that, you can see here, dropping all tables in database. Dropping means deleting, okay? Yeah. So then I'm rerunning the migrations. Now, if I go to my databases and I reload, then we won't have anything in the database, right? In the tables, but we will have something added somewhere in the users table. Do we have anything here? A user ID. Let me see. Users. Let us refresh the entire connection. Cut, delete, connect again, and then go to users, and then after users we scroll all the way right. I don't see. I mean products. My bad. Products. So products. Let's refresh products. Do we have the ID on the products? Why we don't have the IDs on the products? Let's see what's the issue. So we have foreign ID for users in the products table. Products. There we go. It's close. And reload. Select the SQLite. Products. User ID. Yeah, we have it. So there was a glitch. Maybe it was fetching the cache, because an SQLite is a file, so I think it was cached. Okay, so we have user ID right here. So let's see now, how can we associate a user, right, with the product that they create? So right now, if we refresh the website, we are logged out, right? Because we deleted everything from the database, right? Yeah. So we are logged out. So let's get started and create a user. So I'll just say John. Let me say William George, and email is William at, let me say, advancedlabs.co.tz, and password is password. Then I hit register. If I hit register, I'm redirected to the home route. Then if I view your products, you see, I don't have any products, right? When I go, I hit create. This is the place where we create products, right? So what is so this means right now, if I hit submit, this is a good place for me now to find a way to attach the user who is currently logged in. Okay, so let's go to the web, and we see in the operations that deals with the products, we use the product controller. Okay, so let's go to the product controller, specifically the store method. The store method, where is it? There we go. The store method. In here, we are actually, we take the name from the request, we take the description from the request, we now have to take the user ID from the request. We can actually grab the user ID from the request. We can say request user ID, like so. In fact, if I were to dump the user here, like so, if I were to dump the ID of the user, let's dump the user and see what the user is. If I hit submit, right? So let's say my product is iPhone 15, and let me just say brand new iPhone 15. If I hit submit, you see, now we don't have a user. Very bad. Why do we see null? We see null because this is a security feature. It's like a security feature. It's like how Laravel works. It's like this. If a route is public, the authenticated user won't be attached in the request. That means the only way to get the authenticated user is to use the auth method, like so. If we do auth user, okay, if we do auth user like this, let me import auth, not attribute, auth from this facade. Okay. Why is it saying not imported? We have our facade. Okay. Yeah, it's resolving now. So if I reload and continue, we will see the authenticated user. And if you go to the attributes, there we go, we will see the user is William George. Okay. But if we want now the route to give us the authenticated user who is executing the request, we would want to go and make sure that this route declaration is inside the auth facade. Okay, so if I can chain middleware here and say auth, if I can chain a middleware like so and say auth, so this is actually like a way of telling Laravel that anyone accessing these routes, they should be authenticated. This is like the way you're speaking, you're telling Laravel that they have to be authenticated. Okay, yeah. So if I do this, now I can actually access the request user, the authenticated user who is accessing the route. Let's see if that works. Huh? And if I reload like so, oh, it's still saying null. So that is very surprising. How about we do maybe an execution? See? Yeah, we need to access the. Let me see. Do we have the user? Oh yeah, we do have the user. Yeah. So apparently the user is a method which has to be executed. Okay. Yeah. So now we have the authenticated user using the request, but we don't want the user. We want the ID. That means we can actually get the ID from the user, like so. Now, our goal is to create a product while associating the ID of the user who creates the product. Okay? Yeah. So let me now reload. If I hit continue, then it makes sense now to redirect to products. Products, because that's where we see the list of the products that has been created, right? That makes sense. Okay, so if we go back to view products, we can see we have iPhone 15. And if we create product, another product, let's say Google Pixel 9 Pro, maybe 9 Pro. then you can say used but good condition pixel. Used but good conditions. Good. So let's go and hit submit. Now we should be redirected back to the products route. So if I hit submit, you can see we are now creating the products, but the route is not really protected, right? Although if you look at the cursor, if you look at the database, Command J, if you look at the database, if we refresh, we will see we have these products, right? And the user ID is number 1, okay? Number 1. This means the products do belong to the user who has created them. Let's now find a way to log out, right? And then sign up as another user, and let's see if that user can see the products of another user, right? Okay, so let's find a way to log out. If I go back to home, I mean / like so. I think it's a good idea to include a navigation bar, right? It makes sense to have a navigation bar. Let's see if we can put in a navigation bar, and we can use that navigation bar to log in, register, and log out. Yeah. So let's fall back to Daisy UI. Daisy UI. So Daisy UI it's a library, I can call it. It's a library which standardizes Tailwind. Instead of you writing all the Tailwind classes, you can just take components from Daisy UI and put them in your project, and you're good. Okay. Yeah. So let's go to components. Let's look for navigation bars. It should be down here. Nav bars. There we go. These ones, nav bar. And now we have some navigation bars. So we have these ones, we have these ones. So we do have this one, which looks good. This one as well, we have this one. Let me see anything I can grab. Maybe this one. So maybe we can grab this one and just keep the button and the links. Maybe just keep the button. Let's go to HTML. And now, so this is the HTML for the entire navigation bar. I'm copying that. After copying that, I'm taking it to the layout. So in my layout, before I display these ones, I will put the navigation. I can paste it here, but I would rather put it in a separate component. So let me put it in a component. So I will go to components here, and I'll just create a new file. I will call it navbar.blade.php. Okay, like so. And then I will put the navigation there. And then in the layout, I will just reference it using x navbar. Okay, x navbar, like so. And I don't even put anything else in between, so I can just do like so. Okay, so if I go back and reload my website, I think I should see a navigation bar, something like that. Cool, eh? Yeah. So let's find a way to put our own styling, our own test here. So let's go to the navigation bar, and instead of this SVG, I'll just put maybe e-commerce. That should be maybe the title. H5, let's just say e-commerce. Maybe in H1, e-commerce, and maybe we can put some classes here, maybe text bold. Is it text bold or font bold? Font bold, something like that. And if I reload, something is wrong. Something is definitely, so this is a drop down, eh? Okay, and then we have the UL. We don't want the UL. Oh, so that was the trigger of the drop down. Okay, so let me just get rid of the entire drop down. I don't need it. Let me just change this to e-commerce, like so. Okay, yeah, something like this, e-commerce. And then let's get rid of these items, and let's just put the register and login buttons right there, because we want to learn the functionality. The designing you can learn on your own, right? The designing you can learn on your own. Let's just focus on the functionality. So I will steal something here. We have this summary details. Maybe we can use this for products. You can keep the item 1 and for products, and maybe if we will later add more pages, yeah, let's keep item 1, but let's remove these ones, and then this will be a link to products, right? /products, and it should say products, but it should not be visible until someone is logged in, right? Because we don't want someone to view the products, actually to access the routes of the product if they are not authenticated, right? Yeah, because right now if we hit products, we are logged in, right? That's why we see. But if we log out, let's implement a logout functionality. I think that would be nice. In here, instead of button, let's say log out. And for now, let's put a form, right? Let's put a form. Form, yes. Action, log out. And in here, we can just say at CSRF. We want the CSRF to submit a post, a form, a post request in Laravel. So the method will be post, right? And we basically need this to be a delete request, because essentially when you're logging in, you're like creating a session, and when you're logging out, you're like destroying that session, right? So let's just say add method equals delete. Okay, method delete. So now we need the button, right? And this has to be a button which will be of type submit. Why? Because we want this button to submit, right? To submit the form, okay? This particular form here. Yeah. So let's see how it looks like. If we reload, we have our logout button, but we don't have the logout route. Now, if I hit logout, we get not found. What does not found mean? It means that route is not defined. It's not found. Okay, it makes sense. Yeah. So if I go to the web.php and so this is register. So let's define another route for post. Actually, now for delete, which will be called log out. It's not a good idea to use the register controller, although we can use it. but no, I think we can create another controller called the session controller, because we are actually dealing with sessions, you see. So if I do a Control J and hit terminal, we can do a PHP artisan make controller. So PHP artisan make controller will ask us to specify the name of the controller, you see. Now here we can put in the name of the controller, right? So in our case, I can do session controller. Why do I say session controller? Because when someone is logged in, it's basically we are creating a session for that person, right? So if I hit logout, if I hit logout, this means I am removing the session. So this means we are controlling the session, hence session controller, right? So if I do session controller, and let me just put an empty controller, that way we can actually just put in the one method we can put right now. Ending the session. No, we are not ending the session, we're still here. So if I put, we can put now the message here, function, and we can say destroy, because we want to destroy session, and we can forget the return type. And for now, we can just say auth log out, and then we can return home. Okay, can return home. So we need to import auth, and we can use this, the one which comes from Illuminate support facade. Yeah, so if we do that, we are good, right? Yeah. So we can actually protect the logout by making sure that only someone who is logged in visits the logout, because it makes sense. Anyway, let's now switch this to session controller, the one that we just created, and specifically the destroy method, right? Because we want to destroy a session. It makes sense if what we do makes sense even when you speak it, right? Yeah. So this is what we're doing. Let's make sure now we are logging. We are logged out. You see. If I Control R, meaning I am resubmitting the logout form, if I hit continue, I'll be taken to, are we returning a redirect? We are returning a /. This is not what we are going to return. We will return a redirect to a /, okay? We return a redirect to a /. So if I continue, then now we are logged out. That's why you can see get started, but we should do something here, because the logout button is saying logout, but it should say login. It should say login, because someone is not logged in right now. They should be logged in. So we can use now the if else break directives that we already have seen. We can say at guest, if someone is guest, show them this, right? Else, at else, we want something else. Now this time we want just maybe an A tag, a link to a href which says login. Okay. Now let's say login. Okay. So we A tag. Let's go to the login page, and then that is the link that they should see if they are not guests. Actually, it is quite the opposite. Anyway, let's just do now auth. Let's do auth. If we have an authenticated user, show the logout so that the authenticated user can log out, and if they are not, end auth. This one will make more sense. Yeah. My still is super. Yeah, that's it. That's the it's the opposite. Very good. Yeah. So yeah, we can use the auth now to make it as is. Okay. So let's go back to our browser and do a reload, and now we can see we can log in, right? We can log in. Do we have a login functionality? No, we don't. Let's just duplicate the register functionality and create a login functionality from there, right? So go back to cursor. Someone asked about something. Which app is used by bro in coding? Oh, so I'm using cursor. Cursor is just like, it's very similar to VS Code. In fact, I have imported my VS Code settings. Yeah, so I think that answers your question. Edwin, I'm using cursor. Okay, let's proceed now. So we want to create a login functionality because in our web.php, we only know how to register. We don't know how to log in, right? So we have to create two routes. The first route to view the login page, the second route to submit the login. The login button. When the login button is hit, we need to submit that request so that we can create a session of that particular user, meaning we can log the user in. Okay, so let's do that. I think we will use the session controller because we want to create a session, right? Yeah. So if we do a get request to login, let's go to session controller /show. And if we do a post request to login, let's go to session controller /store. Right? So the show action is usually used to show. Or maybe we can do a create, yeah, because a show will show a user, but a create, yeah, will view the form to create a resource. Okay, yeah, so create makes more sense. And store, we want to create a new session. We want to store that session in our server. That way we can identify a user as a logged in user. Okay, so that makes sense. Yeah, so let's go to the session controller and create a functionality to view the login page. So we do function login. Sorry, this one will be create, and these all are public functions. It makes sense to be public, but when we want to create, we want to show the login page, this means we just return a view, right? Return a view, and this should be inside out/login. Okay, although we don't have that, and we are going to create it, because right now if we reload our browser, we'll get a new error. It's saying now the auth login is not found. Okay, this view auth login is not found. Let us create that view now. If I go back to cursor and let me close everything. If I open resources, views, auth, register, let me just copy everything inside register, create another route, another file called login.blade.php, and I will paste everything here. So in here, we are not submitting to a register. So let me just switch this to login. And the title, the legend, it should be login, right? We don't need a name to login, right? We need an email and a password, right? And instead of the button to say register, it should say login. I think we're good, right? If we reload, yeah, we have a login, a very good login form here. Okay, yeah, so let's see if we can log in. Now, if we can put in an email of an existing user and a password, right, and we hit login, this means we are submitting to the login route with the post method. And in here, we don't have a store method, right? You can see even my IDE does not allow me to navigate to store because it's not there. So let's go to session controller and have a store method. So if I do fun, I put store like so. Then in here we can say, let's just say die dump all the contents of the user. So let's just say request all. Okay. Let's just say, in order for us to see if we are arriving at this method. So I'm going back. I will do William at varslabs.co.tz, and the password I will do password, and I hit login. So it looks like we are arriving at that particular action. That's why we can see the response back, right? We can see the response back because we are actually we are arriving at this route. Okay, so it's a good idea to validate, right? Validate. Then after validation, we can attempt to authenticate, and if authentication passes, we can redirect, we can log in the user. Actually, if we attempt to authenticate, a session will be generated automatically. We'll see about that. And then we will have to redirect user to, let's say, to home, or let's say to products. So let us start one thing at a time, right? So let's start by validating. What do we want to do? Let's type hint the request here by doing $request, and use that request object to validate the fields that has been submitted, the data that has been submitted by the user. Okay, so I'm gonna do request validate, and this I'll just put a very simple validation rule here. So for the email, we just want it to be a valid email, and we want it to be required, like so, and it should be an email. Okay, and for the password, now it's also has to be required, like so. Let's just say it like that. Okay, and now if we pass to validate, let's see if we can authenticate. Can we do this manually? Auth attempt, yeah, attempt, and then we can attempt by putting the credentials. Let's say the credentials are, it should be an array. Let's just say validated here, because if we say validated, we can accept the data. Okay, if we say validated, if the validation passes, we will actually get the validated data here. And then we can pass it here, like so. So we are attempting to authenticate a user here. Okay, now if authentication attempt passes, let's do something here. Let's say dump here and say authenticated, something like that, and now we will redirect the user from here, right? Yeah, so for now let's just see if the user is authenticated by using this attempt method on the auth method. Okay, so let's go back and try to reload. Continue. Validated does not exist. Okay. Oh, okay. So let's just say validate. Okay, we need the validation. Anyway, let's say validate, and if we change valid, no, we don't. Anyways, it's okay. What we can do is we can validate, and if it passes, we can validate using the request. Yeah. So I think we need the validate. We can use the validated with the request classes. But for these requests, for the plain request, we can just validate. And if the validation passes, we can actually put in the array. We can build the array manually by saying email. Let's just put request email and password request password, like so. Password. Okay. Okay. So let's see if we can pass now. Continue. Yeah, we are authenticated. Let's go back. If we are authenticated, then now we have just attempted to authenticate. Let's say we redirect back. Let's say we return redirect, right, to products. Let's say we redirect to products. Can we do that? Reload, continue, go back, refresh. So we do William. This tells me we won't be able to do that. We need to fetch the user. We need to log in the user first. Okay, so we need to fetch the user with that particular email and log them in. So I will do user where email request email, and then we will do first. Okay, and then we have the what? We have the user here. And then now we can use the auth side to log in the particular user, like so. Now we need the user model to be imported, like so. So what are we doing here? We are validating the request, if the request is valid. That's number one. Number two, we are attempting to authenticate the user. And if we succeed, what are we doing? We fetch that particular user and log that user in. Okay? We log the user in because the login method can log in a user using the user model. Okay? Yeah, so after that, we can return back to the products. We can redirect to products. Okay. Okay, so there are many ways to do this. I will maybe later teach you other ways to perform this, right? But for now, let us stick with simplicity, which translates directly to what exactly we are doing, right? We are validating if the request that comes in meets these criteria. Then we see if the user, we attempt to authenticate the user using the given credentials. If it happens the user is authenticated, then you see we log in the user by actually first fetching the user model from the database, then we log in the user, then we go back to the products list. So let's say we say William at lastlabs.co.tz and password. If I hit login, as you can see, I have been logged in and I've been taken to products route, which is cool. And right now I am seeing these products, right? Let's now show a potential weakness here. If I do log out and I hit get started, let me create another user. This one would be Lois. Lois. So the email would be lois@vastlabs.co.tz, and the password would be password. And if I hit register, now if I go to okay, super. Okay, so now we have registered a new user, right? Let's view products. Very bad, right? This user has access to products they did not create, which is very bad. Let us fix that. So if we go to let's remove everything first. If we go to the product controller, we have this index method where we pull all products, right? This is the reason why. We are pulling all the products. We are fetching all products from the database and we are showing them to the products index. This is no longer the case. We want to only show the products of a logged in user. There are many ways. Let's see two. Number one, we can do this. We can say product where user ID is authenticated user ID. Actually, we need a comma here instead of a chaining. Yeah, and we can actually put them in one line since they will fit, I believe. Yeah, like so. So this is one way. Yeah? Actually, we need to put a get here to execute that request. Yeah, to convert it to a collection. Yeah, so we say on the products table, give me the products where the user ID is the current authenticated user. Okay, the current authenticated user. So let's see. If we reload, we see no products, and this is good because we currently don't have any products, right? So let us learn another blade directive, which is so cool that we can use to display. You see here we have for each, and then we have end for each. I think we could do something called empty. Let's see if we can do empty. And actually we need empty to be on its own. Here at empty products, I think. Yeah, products. And we can do maybe let's do a paragraph, and let's say an A tag which points to products create, and we can say we can just say maybe here you don't have products yet, hit, then we say create to create one. Maybe click here, maybe we say here to create one. Okay, so let's see. Now this is empty. We need to finish the if condition, and empty, something like this. Okay, if we reload, products empty. If product is empty, we do that. Why don't we see it? Or maybe we can do a for and less. Let's do this. For else. Yeah, let's do it for else. Cut this. So this one will be the empty part, and this one will be this part here. So let's make this good. Let's go through this now. So for else product as product, then we do an empty block here. So for else is a combination of a for each and when that for each is empty, because in most cases in displaying a list, we always display a list if it's a variable, but if the list is not a variable, we normally show some kind of a message to indicate to the user that this list is not broken, it's working fine, but you don't have anything in here. So we can additionally put some indication on what the user has to do, as in hit here to create a product. Yeah. So if I come here and I reload, yeah, you can see here, and then we can have this click here. Let's just make this a link. Yeah. So if I do our class, maybe say, maybe text blue, 500 is fine. If I reload, click here, maybe we can also do underline. Maybe if I reload, why is it not underlined? Underline. Something wrong with underline? Oh yeah, it's there now. Okay, so I would like the text to be centered. Class text center. If I reload, it's centered. I want the okay, so actually I did create a grid, right? And this grid has got columns too. So this item is taking one column. So let's make it take two columns. Okay, so we can say call span 2. If I say call span 2, though it is one item, but it will span across two columns. Okay, so if I refresh, yeah, we have it right there. So if I do click here, I can now create a product. Now let's say this one has Xiaomi, Redmi Note 9, used but good condition. Grammarly. If I hit submit, so this user has one particular product, right? This user has one product. Now, can they edit their product? Yes, they can edit. Can they view their product? That view product from edit is broken. So let's go to edit, and let's say view product. There we go. View product. It should go to products, right? So if we go to view your products, edit, view products, it comes back to the products list. Okay. Yeah. So guys, now let's see if we log out and log in as William at vastlabs.co.tz. And if you go back and you check, put in the password, we see William has got iPhone and Google Pixel, but Lois had a Xiaomi Redmi. So the functionality for users to view their own products is working, right? It's cool. So what can we do here? Maybe we can put a welcome message. If I hit e-commerce, I should be able to go somewhere, maybe to the home page. You see? So let's go to the home. Let's go to the layout, and here we have this component, the navbar component. When we click on e-commerce, it's an A tag. It should go somewhere, right? It should go to the home page, right? If I hit e-commerce, reload, hit e-commerce, I go to the home page. And here, instead of saying welcome, let's say welcome someone, right? To know who is currently logged in, right? Let's know who is currently logged in. Okay, so how can we do that? In our home page, we have the welcome, right? So we can conditionally display the name of the user who is logged in, right? Or we can just conditionally display the entire H1, right? I think that is better. At auth, we can display welcome, and we can say, how can we get the auth user? Can we use the auth side here? Auth user name, right? And else, this means the user is not logged in. We can display welcome, right? So if the user is authenticated, display this where we have the authenticated user. If not, display that. So if we come back and refresh, we see welcome William George, which is so big. I don't like it. Maybe we can bring it a little bit down. Instead of text 5XL, let's do a 2XL for the authenticated. Yeah, welcome William George. So, and maybe just maybe for the William, we could put maybe anyway, that would be a design class now. Let's not go all the way there. That would be a design class. Okay. So, what functionality have we done so far in authentication? We have logout functionality, and of course we have get started, the registration functionality. We have the login functionality, and we have some protection. If I log in as Lois at vastlabs.co.tz, if I do password, and if I hit login, you see Lois has one item. Yeah, so this marks the end of our authentication session. Yeah, so I think we have done authentication. We know how to register. We know how to attempt to log in a user, right? Yeah. So let's see something. Let's see something before I let you guys off. If I go login and I put Lois at gmail.com, something which is not there, and I do password. If I hit login, you see something is not right here. Okay. Something is not right here. So let's finish that first. We overlooked that. So let me go to session controller and see something here. So if auth attempt, right? If the auth attempt will be valid, if we attempt to authenticate the user and we succeed to do so, you see, we log in the user, but we didn't specify the else part. Or maybe if it happens we reach at this point, what do? We could return a validation exception. Yeah, we could return a validation exception. How can we return a validation exception? Return validation exception. Do we have a validation exception? Validation exception. Yeah, there we go. Do we return validation exception or do we throw a validation exception? Let me see in my notes. Did I write this? This one is login. Did I? Yeah, we can return back with errors. Okay, this is much better. So let us return back with error, and with error accept an array, because we can have more than one error, right? And if we want the errors to be displayed in association with the input fields, we need to specify the input field's name, right? So in our case, email. And then we can say maybe the credentials, maybe the email or password combination is invalid. The reason we say this is because we don't want to give too much information to the hacker, right? If someone is trying to brute force or to attack us, we don't want them to get any information. We just say email or password combination is invalid, right? Yeah. So this is very generic. So now, if we go back to our login form, we could display the error anywhere, here or here, or we could put something here. So if you remember, we created a component for form errors, right? So if I do x form dot error, is it there? I think. And then we can specify the name. Let's go to that component. I have forgotten that component. Let's go to the component form errors. There we go. It accepts a field, yeah? So it's forms.error and it accepts a field, okay? So let's do that. So form.error, and then we put a field, and then we say the field is called email, and then it will resolve that that particular error, right? Yeah. So let's see if we can test it now. Okay. So I'm going back and I will reload to attempt logging in with invalid credentials. Okay. Unable to locate class view component form error. It is forms, not form. Forms. Yeah. I think that was the issue. Let's reload. Yeah. Now we came back, but we don't see the error. Let's attempt to do that again. a@g.com, password, login. Yeah, we see the error now. The email or password combination is invalid. Then they have to type again. So we have some feedback when we are not able to log in that user. And in fact, it will be a good idea to put the email back. It will be a good idea to put the email back. So if we want to do that, let's just finish with that. Yeah, in programming, there is a lot that you can do, right? Yeah. So let's say value, and we could say old email. So the old method in Laravel, it checks if, so when you submit a form to a request, the inputs are flashed in the session, and then the old method can access that particular field. Okay, so let's go back and see. So if I refresh and I do a@g.com, we don't have a user with that email. And if I do password, and if I do login, we should see the email here, but we are not. Why? So input value old email, and we have the name email. Something is wrong here. Let's see. Is it because the error is not a validation error? Yeah, because we need to supply, because the old method is triggered when we have these validation errors. Okay, so let's Google a little bit. Let's ChatGPT a little bit to find a way where we can return back a validation error in order to return back what the user wrote in the email, right? That way we can actually repopulate that. So let's ChatGPT a little bit. Where is ChatGPT? Okay, so let's create a new chat. So what is our objective? Let's just say I am working on a Laravel project. I have set up a custom authentication. I want to redirect back when auth attempt fails and be able to access the old email input value. I have tried with redirect back with errors. This gives me back the error message, but the old function is not populated with, maybe does not provide the previous email, does not yield to a previous email. Okay? Suggest a way I can do to return back and set the email to be able to be accessed by the old method. Okay, too much typing. I wish I used the sound. So we chain with input. Fantastic. Laravel is so cool. We chain here with input, and then the inputs should be added to the back request. Okay, so let's try. be@a.com password login. Yeah, we have it, right? And if I say William at vastlabs.co.tz, and if I do password, and if I hit login, we are logging in. If I log out and I hit login and I put someone at gmail.com, and if I do password and if I hit login, so someone remains, but we also get the invalid message. Fantastic. Guys, thank you for being here, and it was so good. The live has reached a lot of people today, which is fantastic. And yeah, so tomorrow at the same time we will continue. We have covered Laravel Authentication, which was cool. So cool. We will go all the way to protecting our routes with authentication middleware. So we will now start to we are going deep actually. We are going deep. So yeah, so stick around. Tomorrow same time I will be here. Remember to follow the live if you haven't. If you have not liked, I have seen a few likes today. Guys, if you like the video, TikTok and YouTube will push the live to more people who can benefit from this. So that's a huge help. And yeah, thank you so much for your time. And let me catch you tomorrow in the next part, where we will be discussing about how we can protect our routes with authentication middleware and different ways we can achieve that. Okay, I'll be here if you have a question. Anyone having a question? I see TikTok, I see YouTube, a few people on YouTube. Anyone with a question? I have not seen a question, a Laravel question today. So do you use Java? No, I use Kotlin. I know Java, yes, I have used Java. In fact, I have a tutorial for Java. Yeah, but I stopped using Java. I chose Kotlin, so I'm using Kotlin right now in my mobile application development as well as desktop. But for the case of web, I do PHP and JavaScript, specifically React. Yeah. So if there is another question, guys, I am here. If there is another question, I am here. If there is another question, let me see if I missed a question, maybe. If I missed your question, you can retype. I'm trying to see any question here. No, we're good. Which app? Okay, so that one is already answered. Okay. Okay, so we don't have any other question. That means that marks the end of our live until tomorrow. I'll be here if you have a question for like 5 minutes, and then after that, I will end the live. Ninafundisha web and mobile app development. This is the technology of building websites. Ni teknolojia ya utengenezaji wa mifumo. Right? God bless. Is it Gable's lady? Or God bless lady? I think it's Gable's lady. Fashion and design. Yeah, so your question, what do I teach? I teach web and mobile application development. Fantastic. If you are into Rust is a cool technology. I've also worked with Rust in my desktop application. I used Tauri. Let me show you Tauri. If you're familiar, are you familiar with Tauri? Liabas, Tauri. I have worked with Rust. I built a desktop application with Tauri. Tauri uses JavaScript on the front end, and on the back end you can do Rust. I did Rust. It's a cool, but somehow complicated on how it works. But I just loved how lightweight the application was. It was very small. I had a desktop application built with React and Electron. It was shooting all the way to 100 megabytes. But with Tauri, it was 3 megabytes. It's so cool. And it is actually the latest application used with Vast Lab students. Yeah, so Tauri is cool. So right now I am pretty into Kotlin, so I am migrating everything into Kotlin. Yeah, it is so cool. Leah Bas, where are you coming from? Where are you from? Leah Bas, where are you coming from? Oh yeah. Oh, you're from Kenya. Fantastic. I was in Kenya the other the other month. Yeah, we had a very good time there. We went all the way to Eldoret. It was very cold over there. Yeah, but we enjoyed it. Yeah. Gables lady, fantastic. Just make sure you follow my my channel. By doing so, when I post, you will be able to get the videos that I post. But also, uh, when I go live, TikTok kinda spread the word. Yeah, if you're on TikTok. So guys on YouTube are very quiet, but they uh, they are getting it. Sure, definitely. Yeah. Okay, guys, it was very nice connecting with you, and yeah, super. Time is up. Let us catch up tomorrow, where we will finish, actually continue, where we will continue where we started. Oh yeah, sure. The session has ended right now. My series, the session has ended. But if you have questions, this is the time. This is the time. You can request to be a guest if you don't want to type. You can request to be a guest, and I will accept you. And yeah, you can actually ask your questions. Okay, silence means no question, so I'm going to end the live now. If you want the replay, it's on YouTube. The replay is on YouTube. Let me see if I can paste the link to the live stream. Let me see if I can paste the link to the live stream. So the current I can't post the link to the live stream. But anyways, if you go to YouTube and search at George Raphael, if you go to YouTube and yeah, you can just do youtube.com/at George Raphael, right? You will see there. If you go to the lives, you will see this live, so you won't miss anything, right? Everything will be there. Yeah, so you can rewatch the video. If I left you somewhere, yeah, you can rewatch the video from there, and yeah, it will be cool. Even if you did not see the previous live, yeah, if you were not here in the previous live, you can find the video also. The previous live, the part 1, also it's on YouTube. You can also get yourself up to speed with that link. Yeah, but if you want to connect, be sure to follow. Come inbox. Yeah, I'll be able to assist you on a private basis. If you want a private session, I do have private sessions, so I'll be able to assist you on a private basis if you want a private basis session. Yeah. Okay, so that being said, I'm going to end the live now. Super. So private we use Zoom or Google Meet. But yes, you can contact me on WhatsApp. Are you familiar with Google Meets or Zoom? Super, yeah. So if you are in need of a private session, like if you want to understand from the basics, yeah, so I can be of service. We can just you come inbox, we talk. I see how I can best help you based on what you want to achieve in the technology in the tech industry. Yeah, super. Uh, See you on my inbox. Eh? I'll be able to help you more on a private basis from there. Okay. So, guys on YouTube, okay, I'm going to end the stream.